The Certainty Principle by David Light, Chapter 9, Sections 4 and 5. A little bit more about control and condition. Quote from Warren Buffett: "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." Buffett, 2018. The scope of my personal mandate is defined by my personal domain of control. One might say that as my mandate is predestined by the confluence of my DNA, my ambition, my consequence, so is my domain control likewise prescribed. But to streamline the mission, let's remove consequence. Why worry about what might happen? Let's focus on mandate. Reliance on circumstance anchors and limits achievement. Thus, my achievements are really my DNA plus my determination to fulfill that mandate. That creates a domain of decisions and actions for which, and this is the tough part, TCP requires that I swear to control with the devotion of a zealot. My domain of control is circumscribed by the set of actions required in service to my mandate. TCP says that I should be meticulous about my mandate. I'm always digging like a hungry dog to get to the fundamentals of cause and effect that elevate my level of performance. This requirement disambiguates life. My choices of action are constrained to those that are directly impactful within my domain of accountability, which I pursue with as much of my energy as I can muster. All other choices are conditional and do not serve the expenditure of reasoning, emotion, and energy that define my capacity to do my work superbly. Laymen know the tricks and techniques. Masters dig deeper into the understanding of the keys of great work, while knowing that learning alone isn't enough. They've gotten into the habit of practicing, the repetition needed for figuring out exactly where and how each key fits until it becomes automatic. Dave Light, 2019. Conditionals are domains of influence that fall beyond the perimeter of my mandate. There are two types. Not my conditionals. These have no impact on my work and should be categorically ignored. These not my business influences are like pop-up ads on cell phone, distractions that can distort and sap attention if my brain allows them to. Obstacle conditionals. These directly impinge on my actions and should be adapted to or eliminated. Rain is an obstacle. If it impedes my progress, I respond by raising an umbrella or I'll get wet. I ignore the first type altogether because such distractions drain the essential vitality required to fulfill my mandatory responsibilities. TV, social media, judgmentalism, and other vanity-based preoccupations must be shunned if I am to succeed spectacularly at my mandate. But occasionally, conditions confront and confound my progress. Rapid response in handling them prevents them from evolving into important obstacles to my goals. Everything good in life has a demon that tries to stop you. There's some advantage in just ignoring that. But something that you need to do, and do it fast before your brain talks you out of it. There's a great sense of relief associated with abandoning attachment to identity. I'm no longer tethered to the anchor of feeling a cause or effect for everything in the environment. I am with cause, with effect. I can identify with the domain boundaries within which I have greater control, and the larger domains within which condition is in control. My domain of absolute control is much smaller than my identity leads me to believe. These mandate-predicated decisions and actions that I take on an ongoing basis, independent of outcomes, is the tiny domain for which I am personally responsible. Mandate's tiny. It may have big impact, but it's very small and limited and self-restrained if I want to get it right. Therefore, the importance of focusing on very few objectives at any given time and concentrating diligently on detecting and solving problems completing tasks that are within that domain. That's the key to certainty. Though I carefully choose the clothes I wear, the shirt, jacket, pants, the shoes, even the umbrella I carry, I have no influence over the weather when I walk out the door. Therefore, my choice of clothing is important because it is of my own choosing, based on my own decisions, my own needs and wants, my own proclivities. Even relinquishing the way I dress to the fashion of others, excuse me, uh, even relinquishing the way I dress to the fashion of others, uh, conforming and conformity, is an important and dangerous precedent. So make such choices carefully. I surrender no liberties within my domain without a fight, and then still never, never, ever give in. Base your actions on the values that are authentic to you. They are deep and driven by a mandate and a horizon you've created for yourself. Yeah, it's so much more gratifying than the opposite. Nonconformists live a fuller life than conformists, for sure. In this context, it's easy to understand how Patrick Henry declared, "Give me liberty or give me death." The entire value of human existence comes down to the point of liberty and freedom of choice, of activity, in alignment and in accordance with the values that are deeply held by the individual. It goes even bigger than that, actually. Freedom is a fundamental law of physics. Think about entropy, fugacity, thermodynamics. It is because of those rights, freedoms, and liberties maintain their integrity and are never surrendered that most human existence is conditional, and that this concept is subject to environmental and situational forces beyond the control of the individual. The great fall of man is the surrender to conditions. The great fall of man is surrender to conditions. Keep fighting, keep trying. That's where the action is. Media of all kinds is toxic to the independent mind. Social media could be accelerating the downfall of civilization for the conformity that it breeds. But those who fear independence and accountability flock to such media, particularly social media, for external identity validation. Yeah, they need that identity thing to survive. They hope to find nirvana within which they can be anesthetized from the responsibility for their decisions and their actions. But at last, there is no escape. Like morphine, the drug of identity requires ever greater doses to remain addicted. The eventuality is recognition, sort of like coming off heroin, I guess, that it was all an illusion. No chord of human understanding was ever struck. Wisdom itself was denied in pursuit of entertainment. But in ignorance, there is no escape from wisdom. And ignorance plagues the possessor just as wisdom elevates her. Certainty requires alignment with the central purpose that is deeply embedded and inherent in the individual, the person's destiny, mandate, identity-free living. 9.5, the word is no. No is the word of certainty. From birth, my brain and all brains are saturated by millions of problems and tasks that compel them into tacit compliance and accommodation. As we grow up, we try fighting against our parents and the cultural pressures to conform. Instinctively and smartly do so. At 14, I felt at war with the world around me. I was the new kid in ninth grade at Pembroke Junior High School. Tommy Besh was a tough, pig-faced kid who made it his mission to make my life miserable. Every time I passed him in the hall, he'd swerve over and bump into me or give me a shove. Now, I was an introverted kid who generally avoided others, which is probably what made me the target. What Tommy didn't know was that I was a very angry kid from a dirt road who'd grown up working hard and playing harder. My family had recently disintegrated in a bad divorce, and I was spoiling for someone to blame all that crap on. One morning, I was leaving my gym class. I walked into Tommy, who gave me a book scattering shove so hard I hit the deck. Something snapped. All I recall is the word no, followed by the thought that if I broke that pig nose, it would put an end to my troubles with Tommy. The rest is a blur, except that I began hammering that pig nose until he couldn't get off the floor. Finally, Coach Crawford parted the crowd and pulled me off bloodied Tommy. Something changed that day. Besh was the first of several fights I'd have in my early 20s. I don't condone fighting, but connecting the dots backwards, I can see I was frustrated and fed up with fear. No was the only antidote. Nothing, even if it meant a busted face or a smashed hand, was worth submitting to constant cowardice. No meant neither God nor man was going to keep me from ridding myself of the knot of uncertainty in my gut. Certainty must be fought for, and fought for hard. TCP revealed to me that there's nothing, not even life itself, that justifies a brain state of fear or regret. One no is worth 1,000 yeses. No is the full metal jacket, the destroyer of doubt and uncertainty. It signals my brain that wisdom, not wimpiness, commands my domain of control, and that its main job, its only job really, is discovering the solutions that deliver on the mandate that I am destined to fulfill.